I'm just not vibing you anymore. Whether it's because they see you now up here and it's just not a fit for their reality, that's actually okay. I don't even expect people to continue the same level of support because, hey, guess what? Then I'm here in a different room and I've got a whole new group of supporters cheering me on and helping me and opening doors for me.
Welcome back to another episode of Unmasked Founders. Today I have with me Michelle Rule, the Millionaire Maker. Less than 7% of women ever make 100K in business and less than 2% make seven figures. And in my view, the reason is because we give up too soon.
If you can get yourself in that higher frequency, you're going to solve a lot of problems in your life. You're actually going to be using that. Things are going to drop away. Things that felt really hard, like this neighbor's bothering me and the problem at work and all this stuff and clients misbehaving in all these ways. Go raise your frequency and come back to me and then go into those situations and tell me if those problems still exist.
Welcome to Unmasked Founders with Leslie Kay. This is the podcast that goes beyond the highlight reel of entrepreneurship. Instead of focusing on the accolades and achievements, this show explores the real moments that shape founders, the challenges, the breakthroughs, and the lessons that transform both the business and the human behind it. Hosted by me, Leslie Kay, an entrepreneur who has built empires and discovered the cost of success. Unmasked Founders is a space for honest conversations about growth, resilience, and staying true to who you are. Whether listeners are just starting out or scaling to the next level, this is where real stories are told. Welcome to Unmasked Founders, a conversation with me, Leslie Kay. Welcome back to another episode of Unmasked Founders. Today I have with me Michelle Rule, the Millionaire Maker. And Michelle has a long list of accolades, so I'm going to let her explain to you everything she does and where she's come from. Welcome, Michelle.
Thanks for having me, Leslie. Excited to be here.
My pleasure. I'm excited to dive in. I feel you've got some juicy stories to tell.
Always.
But before we get into it, can you let everyone know, what it is you do in the world and how you found your way here?
Yeah, amazing. So being a millionaire maker is something I've been doing for a couple of years and essentially happened after I retired. So I retired myself I was in my late 30s and I thought I was done. I've gone from 30K debt to an $8 million asset base, worked my way up steadily through multiple different careers, from starting out in advertising agencies to retraining as a primary school teacher, and then to found an IT company with my husband, which we've been doing for 14 years. So we still have that business, and business was no longer needing me so much. So I thought, let's retire. Just had my second baby when I had decided that's it, I'm not going to go back to work. I had about 24 months of retirement. In that time, I'd dyed my hair blonde, really accomplished a lot. I'd retidied the kitchen pantry in alphabetical order, all the really cool things, but I was finding there was a bigger purpose and a bigger mission there. So turning 40 was the beginning of my legacy hour. So as the Millionaire Maker, I'm here to have conversations like these to talk about what it means to build wealth and money being a conversation I want women to have, because I truly believe that wealth is a beautiful energy source on the planet. It allows us to co-create a life that feels good, doesn't just look good, but feels good. And so now that's what I do. I spend my days supporting women building wealth.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. There's so many angles that I want to take this. My mind is going in a million directions. I think the first I would like to dive into is the difference between wealth creation and making money or building revenue. I talk about this all the time, but I built 2 8-figure companies and then lost it all because I wasn't actually building wealth along the way. $500,000 salaries, but I was wasting it on designer bags and private jets and I don't know, something bougie every other week, because I was less focused on wealth creation and more focused on actually egoic. What do people think of me? What do I look like? What is the external evidence of my success in the world? So I would love for you to touch on, to a degree, like the difference between wealth creation and actually making money, because I've learned that lesson the hard way. Like I had to lose everything to then be like, oh, there's more to actually earning money And there's a difference between making money and holding money.
Yes.
And that's been one of my biggest lessons is in the actual creation, but also the holding of the wealth. So I'd love for you to like shed some insight on that.
Yes, I love this conversation because honestly, the beginnings of money for me, it wasn't a great relationship. I grew up in a loving family. My parents were teachers, so we had just enough money to get by, but always this sense of not overflow and not enough. I couldn't take all the dance classes I want to. I couldn't get the new shoes or the what, and it's fine and that's okay. My parents absolutely loved us and 3 kids and both working parents. So, but then understanding, okay, I need to learn how to make money. The minute I could earn it, I earned it. 14 and 9 months is the legal age to start working. So I was behind a checkout. I had my resume in 2 weeks before that date. And I was the day of, I'm like, here I am ready to work. Let's earn some money. So I was really excited always to earn money, but had no idea. I had no idea that there was this whole wealth game being played. So what actually eventuated is I went to university, picked a job that was supposedly going to give you the high income, went into ad agencies, which was a good compromise because I was a creative person, but I knew I needed a steady, safe type of a career job. So got the high income, worked my way up, absolutely burnt myself out. But like you say, earning money, spending everything and more, started getting credit cards because, you know, health insurance, car payments would come up and I had nothing left in the bank account and I needed the outfits for the job and all the things, right? So ended up in debt. And that's actually when I decided that I hated money. I actually decided I'm done with this whole game and I exited the ad agencies and went to find my soul purpose. So actually it makes no sense that I'm here saying I've built the $8 million asset, but like how? And this is where your journey gets to be what you decide at any point. You can change it. But for me, it took another full decade of a soul discovery, you know, going into teaching, going through IVF, trying to have babies, really, you know, meditation, learning Reiki, pranic healing, just everything to heal my soul and get connected with what life meant for me. And I probably would have stayed there with no money necessarily, just enough to get by still until I had my son. So the birth of my firstborn, my son, after an IVF battle, holding him in my hands shook my world because now I needed money not just for me, but I was starting to think about what holidays, schools, housing, the whole situation for my son, what could I provide him? You know, and should something happen to me, we were running a business, my husband and I, we had no assets behind us other than the house that we were living in with a bit of equity. This thought just dawned on me that what if I left this planet and something happened to me and that there was nothing for him? So actually I fell into wealth creation and we started looking at investing in property as a way to build some stability and some foundations for him and for so that was a big enough why for me, whereas my own need of money was not it. So understanding wealth is going to be something we're going to have to actively do. So I was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time to have good conversations with people who advised us and helped us to start investing. But what I discovered from actually doing it years down the track, getting 1, then getting 2 properties, starting to actually take control for myself and look at the numbers and map my own net wealth, I started to realize I was building more wealth through these assets that I was holding. My wealth was going up by hundreds of thousands a year and it was overtaking my profits in my business. And that was a big mindset shift for me, realizing, it's not even hard work necessarily to hold assets. It's pretty hard work to run a business. It's pretty active work. So that's when it really started to ramp up and I thought, well, you know, if I can do a couple of million net worth, why can't I keep going?
Yeah, wow.
And so we're often racing, you know, 8, but 20 millions where we'll be hitting within the next sort of 5 to 7 years and then beyond because it snowballs.
Yeah. Truly. I love this. What did it take you to get there? You spoke a little bit about Reiki and like a soul mission, which I think we've all been on. Talk to me about like in essence what it cost you, like what it cost you to become the woman that can hold an 8-figure wealth portfolio.
Once you've done the deep work, and I don't necessarily think you need to do it in that order. That was just my mission. I didn't have a big enough why to do it on my own. Potentially not a big enough reason until it was my son. So what does it take? Well, first of all, it's an active decision. So you could look at my early days and making money that there wasn't enough self-worth there in order to actually decide I'm worthy of more than just working hard for money. I truly have had to come up against this belief that money has to be hard earned. Because it's not my reality now. It's not the evidence in my life now. It's actually not a correlation with hardness and hard work. That there is this entire system that I was resentful for. You know, you get that sense that wealthy people maybe are not even working as hard as you, and there's this sense of, hang on a minute, I actually don't like those people. Yes. I'm annoyed at them. Like, how come they get to just be born in and have all the things? So what it took is me actually realizing it's not them that I'm angry at. It's not even money that I'm angry at. It's just a disempowerment because I didn't understand exactly how it was done, and I didn't have the know-how and the self-belief to know that I could do it too.
Yeah.
So I think once I realized and started to stack evidence that actually I can do it and I don't have to sell my soul for it, I actually get to work in alignment with my soul energy and build out money, it was like we're off to the races.
Yeah, I think that's such a big thing. I talk about this all the time, where when I was making millions of dollars in recruitment, that I was working 10, 12-hour days. And in fact, I've always made money really easily, but with a lot of hard work. And so I had dissolved really young that money was scarce because I saw money everywhere. Like, I was in real estate, then I was in recruitment, and I was billing like multi-millions of dollars a year and earning high multi-6, 7-figure salaries inside of that. But what I had to erase and to rewire inside of me was that I only made that if I work hard.
Yeah.
And so, I love that you've brought that to the conversation, because I think there is such an ingrained belief system. And, you know, I was raised by my grandparents. So of that generation where, like, you work hard and that's just what you do. I also got my first job at like 13. I don't even think I waited till I was 14. I think I was earning cash at a little corner store somewhere. But, yeah, it's just this belief system that's ingrained into us that you only earn money, and especially big money, if you're working hard. And then it's almost like there's like a false level of entrepreneurs that hold that belief and frequency. And then you meet multimillionaires and billionaires, and they're like compounding their money, compounding their businesses. They put a CEO into their business and they just kick back and buy 3 other businesses and let their wealth compound for them. So I love that you've brought that awareness. You touched on self-worth, that perhaps you didn't start with as much self-worth or self-belief as you had now. And I think this is very similar for me. It's like I followed the rules, so I made the money, and I didn't even – self-worth didn't even come into it because I was working for someone else, and probably it was my lack of self-worth that made me work so much because I just was overgiving in order to receive something back. I would call that a mask, and this is called Unmasked Founders. So what have you done? You know, if there's someone listening to this and they're like, yeah, I don't know if I can be the woman that can have, an 8-figure wealth portfolio. Maybe she's a single mum that, has their son, and she's thinking the same thing, like, God, what am I going to do to leave a legacy or, leave something for my child? What have you done to help like unravel that and step into the woman that commands like boardrooms of women like making millions?
Honestly, like I want to hold your hand in this and let you know that building wealth is the greatest journey that you'll go on. It also puts you in a position of visibility and potentially also a position where people will judge and have opinions about you. You can't stay small and accumulate wealth. Potentially some of the higher up families remain hidden to some degree, but really if you're up and coming, the way I see it is we are all magnetic at our core. So we all have an ability to magnetize money because money will follow that pull. But in order for that to come out, we need to open up to visibility and vulnerability. So that is the pathway through, is realizing that I'm going to have to be seen in this. And I hear you, because for me, it would have been the worst thing ever if someone said to me that I was like pretentious or, oh, you're one of those fancy people. You know, I grew up very much like outer suburbs. And so even when my husband and I bought our first like Mercedes, like first nice car, I remember parking around the corner of the kids' school thinking I can't park out the front because I don't want anyone to see this new car. I didn't even register. Hang on a minute. At some point, people are going to see the fact that you've amassed wealth, and it's okay. But if you're judging others, you'll be judging yourself the whole way up, and you're going to be resisting that, and you're going to be making excuses of, okay, well, I can buy that because of this, but you don't need to struggle with yourself over that. It's actually completely okay to go all the way in and to be surrounded by wealth and comfort and serve from a place of overflow. I truly believe the more I have, the more I can serve without burning my candle out and self-sacrificing and serving.
Yes.
I want to self-build and serve over the top.
Yes.
So that in itself is a complete mindset shift, but it's available. It's available to you. You can decide, you know what, I can see where I've been potentially self-sacrificing, and I'm ready to fill myself up with love, with abundance, with richness, and serve from that overflow.
For me, it's a reflection of self-love. Like, why wouldn't you want to book yourself business class flights so you arrive at a destination and actually have slept laying flat? Like, why wouldn't you want to walk into any restaurant and not even look at the bill and order what you want? Yeah. Like, for me, it's less about superficial. You know, I used to be very superficial, but for me, like, wealth has changed to, well, why wouldn't I want to give myself everything? If I love myself as much as I say I love myself, isn't that a gift to me to be able to afford whatever I want to afford? And not from I need this to look a certain way, but more from like, I want to feel in celebration of myself. I want to feel like I can buy the things that I want, and probably more need than want. I think the issue sometimes is overconsumption. But for me, it's like business class flights around the world whenever I want. Like, freedom is like waking up tomorrow and being like, right, family, we're working from Costa Rica next week, pack your bags, and then just taking off.
It's a necessary shift too, because even the way you're speaking, it's not for the external, because doing things for the external doesn't carry the same vibration. When you do it from the internal, money's responding to that because it can sense the amount of value you hold in yourself. Money will flow to value. So if we're stacking it up, even in my early advertising days, stacking up cash, buying the clothes, looking the part, but feeling miserable and depleted inside, ain't nothing going to find you in that space because you haven't found that for yourself. So I love that. It's truly about the feeling, entering the restaurant, don't look at the bills, go shopping. I buy the things that I want to buy.
Yeah, send your personal shopper and stylist out. That's my goal. I'm like, yes, because I love clothes, hate shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Look, and there are past versions of me that would be judging the person sitting here having this conversation. So if there's any part of you even listening to this that's getting the ick, go further, go deeper, because you can have this. You absolutely can, and you deserve it. Every human being deserves to be able to make choices about their life.
Truly. And I just want to actually touch on, because as you said that, I'm like, when I used to get the ick, it was like, well, think about the people that can't even afford dinner or whatever. And for me, because I've been in such big businesses, you know, like $5 million a day turning through bank accounts, and you look at it like and I was a little business, and it's nothing. Like there is so much money. It's actually a made up amount. So there's no one's ever running out ever.
No.
So if you're sitting there thinking, but I don't want to be that extravagant or waste money on X, Y, Z, it's not. It's actually a construct, because there's trillions of money in circulation throughout the entire world. So if you're like holding on to like lack or judgment, it's probably because you're not allowing yourself to actually receive what's possible in this life.
Yes.
So I just wanted to add that in. I also wanted to speak to, you spoke about visibility. And one thing I've really admired over you over the past, I think it's almost 2 years now that we've known each other, is you just in my view, woke up one day and decided you were having a personal brand and having all of this impact and just fucking went and claimed it. And it's like watching you just show up and step into your visibility era. And not only that, but have such a strong personal brand in such a short amount of time has been phenomenal to watch and so motivating, because sometimes I'm like, fuck, I need to do what Michelle does. Michelle just gets out
What
there
is she
and
doing now?
gets shit done and like brings these room of powerful, incredible women together. So I just want to speak to this. I think that what a lot of people lack is the audacity. And I know Jess talks about that. That's how we met, to actually just go and make big moves. And I think in what I've witnessed in you is that permission piece to just go bigger and do the thing and book the room and take up space. So I would love for you to speak to that, because I do think there's a correlation in your capacity to just go all in and how you've grown exponentially.
Yes.
And in my view, like rapidly, because I witness personal brands and you're like, it's a 5 or 10 year journey, and people, you're literally like, I never want to say overnight success, because I know your backstory, I know the work you put in behind the scenes, but I think from a personal brand perspective, you've really just claimed it. So I'd love for you to speak to that.
You know, thank you. Thank you. That's interesting to see the outside point of view, but isn't this fascinating? Because take notes from that and apply it. Anyone can take notes from what's happening here and apply it. Now, this is the frequency of abundance of co-creation. The co-creation, we are put here to create. This is a magical place. Now, I understand there's light and dark. For a long time, the fact that lack existed in some people's lives bothered me so much to the point where I couldn't shine as bright as I wanted to shine. And so I dulled myself off, knowing that people were going without food. It bothered me. And so I wanted to self-sacrifice and dull myself to try to level out the playing field. But what I'm here to say is, after realizing that was not serving anybody, and that I was not put here to have a limited life, when actually, who am I to sit back and not do the thing when I have every single potential opportunity right there for my taking? Why am I not doing something about it? So I think for me, you know, potentially I came out all guns blazing because I was 40 and I was on a mission and it was my time, but there was a bigger purpose driving me.
Yes.
And so right from the beginning, I knew, I don't want to say destiny, but it felt like, Queen, you do it now, or you're not, like, you're being called to step up. Now go. Yes. Use your journey. You didn't come from debt to amass millions to sit at home watching Netflix. It was grating on me. Like I said, my retirement, like changing my hair color, I'm like, I'm suffocating in this. So it's a good indication if you feel like you are suffocating in life, you're not on path, you're not on purpose. So get up and move, start asking questions, spend time with yourself. What is it that I'm here to do? Once you get the hit, you have to move. If you don't move on the hit that you get, you're going to stop getting those hits of inspiration. They will stop coming if you don't listen to them.
Truly.
So once I was now getting them, okay, it's time to move and do the thing. Shit, am I scared? Yeah, I'm scared, but I'm going to find people that can help me. All right. So every step, every day, you know, you've got to block out the noise, put the blinders on. Like, you think I don't know that there were people in my immediate reality that were like, what on earth is she doing getting up speaking about money? We've never heard her talk about money. But this was a conversation I'd had with myself for decades. So I knew who I was. I knew my journey, and I knew what I was being called to do. And so it was time. But the reason I share that is, take notes in that, because I decided, decision energy, I decided I was ready, that this was a mission, that it must be done. And the more that I spoke up, the more people I was going to help. Because I decided, I went knocking on doors. I'd already decided that's who I was and that's what I was going to do. So you actually get to co-create and decide whatever it is you want. I think where people may lack is they're not sure what they want, or they haven't got the they haven't got the connection with themselves and source, or whatever it is that when you just know where you're meant to go.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's where I would say spend the time, because once you know you must move, you must take action. It's a physical reality. We have to move physically to get things
And I would say to add to that, like, even if you don't have the clarity you had, like, fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out.
Like, so many people get stuck in their heads and the planning, and I imagine you just saw one step ahead and you just kept, okay, we'll go there. Yeah. And then another step and then another step.
Move, momentum, move, faster, just move. You've got everything you need, just move.
Truly.
Because maybe when I was younger, I could say I need more prep, but there's no excuses now. But when I realized actually, and I have a 19-year-old assistant, but she's taking notes. I'm like, you're going to learn along the way.
Yeah.
Move. You know, she's coming to me with New York. We're going there in a couple of weeks to do some personal brand work. And she's like, you know, she's going to be in the rooms. And I said, take notes, start the personal brand while you're doing this. Like, let's go. You've got what you need. Because it is in doing the action that you're going to learn, and messy action, bold action trumps perfectionism every day of the week. There are people out there that don't have as much knowledge of you that are claiming it, and they're sitting in the seats that are designed for you.
Truly.
So if you're watching someone on stage or even on a podcast, you're like, I could do that. Yeah, you could. That's the tap.
Yes.
That's the get up and go.
Quick pause. Are these conversations resonating with you? Do you finally feel seen in your business journey? This is the entire mission of Unmasked Founders. To strip back the highlight reel and tell the raw truth about multi, 6 and 7-figure success. We're here for the emotional costs, the days you want to quit, and the breakthroughs that follow. And we can bring you these essential conversations thanks to the support of our incredible partners, Cacao Collective and the OE Agency. These are the businesses who empower founders to keep going, providing the systems and the professional polish you need when you're busy navigating the emotional storm. If you love what you're hearing, don't miss an episode. Hit that subscribe button right now and check out Cacao Collective and the OE Agency in the show notes. Now, let's get back to it. Yeah, I love that. And almost like if you have that thought of I could do that or I should be doing that, that's yourself saying that you're out of alignment.
Yes.
I want to add to this as well, because I think of so many women that build big businesses or build successful businesses like multi 6 or 7-figure businesses, and then they realize they're not in their soul work or their purpose work. And then I think there's almost a fear of like, well, I can't continue to grow, or I can't pivot, or I need this to function. And I mean, you had a husband you could leave it with. I help women employ CEOs so they can leave it. But I just want to speak to this like perception of having to choose, because I think you've very well articulated and shown in your journey that you allowed yourself to keep evolving, and you weren't afraid to be like, okay, well, what's next? And I can have this and this, and I don't need to choose between almost like the traditional business and then my soul's purpose. And you know, I help lawyers and accountants, and they're similar. They're like, they've built the foundations, they've got a 7-figure practice, and they're bored with it. They don't love it anymore. They're doing it because they make good money and they feel trapped by it. So I would love to speak to this like evolution of self and evolution of woman, to be like, there is ways to stabilize your core business and use that as a platform to leverage into a personal brand and what is next for your soul. So I'd love for you to talk to that.
Yes. And this is where I don't subscribe to that you must only make money through your soul purpose as such. For a long time, I thought that I did, that I had to find my calling or my purpose. You don't necessarily, that is not how your journey will start out. Like looking back, it makes no sense. Well, looking back, it makes sense why I'm here. But looking forwards, when I started, I just kept thinking I was changing careers or moving, but I kept getting told I got to tweak this, move this, keep that, keep going. It's tricky to see all the pieces moving forward. That's why we just have to keep moving forward, like honestly. And you go, oh, that's why I did all things. Great. But in terms of, you know, I look at the money that flows into my life as this ecosystem, this empire. And the more I can raise my frequency and my capacity, because I do a lot on energetics as well as strategy with wealth, but the more I can open my frequency and capacity for wealth, money's going to find me, and it finds me. Sometimes it finds me through the IT company will have this explosion in growth and clients. And my husband's very much into the energetics now. So we do a lot of work around that, into calling in the right culture and staff and clients. And you'll be like, hey, I'm working on this big project. Can you help me? Like, check if there's any blockages with this client that's coming in. Okay, we'll have a look. But I don't put restrictions on the way money finds me. I'm not telling it, you must come through when I'm doing this particular thing. If money wants to find me through an IT company or through some other brand deal, but I'm out here helping a client here, however it wants to find me, so long as my frequency is right, then I'm going to be good. So with the business, this is where it's like, yes, hire the people. Don't be doing the things that aren't lighting you up. There are smart people out there that are happy to do that job. Keep the system going. We don't have to burn everything down. We really don't. You know, consistency and longevity actually will make more money. You know, that company is 15, 14 years in, and we're really just starting to see this exponential growth because you stick at it long enough.
Truly.
And you just
traditional business is a time game.
Yes.
Like, I've done it enough times to know that it's the consistency and the continuously showing up. And the whole reason I built this podcast, because it's in the moments where you want to give up that you must keep going.
Yes.
And the conversations that we're having is for those people listening that might be in a season of like, I want to burn it to the ground. I feel trapped by it. Everything feels really hard right now, because it's something like less than 7% of women ever make 100K in business, and less than 2% make 7 figures. And in my view, the reason is because we give up too soon.
Yes.
There's like, if you're not well resourced, if you don't have the right people in your corner, if you don't have the right belief systems, and especially because women generally hold the relationship, the children, everything else, it just becomes too much. We collapse in the pressure and we are like, okay, well, I'm just going to give up. But every business that I've been in has been in a season of skyrocketing and then stabilizing and sometimes going backwards. And it's been the staying power in like, okay, what have I learned? Where do I need to pivot? What's my next growth edge that has allowed that next evolution? So I just wanted to bring that in. And yes, you just need to let money find you however it wants to find you.
I love that.
Not through, well, I'm a lawyer, so it has to be through more law cases.
And this is where it's like, keep the business, put the structures in that you need, get yourself the respite that you need, raise your frequency, make sure we're increasing creativity, fun, joy, pleasure. Like, as women, we must have all of this.
Truly.
And then watch what happens to your frequency, and then watch what happens to the business.
Yes.
So we might blame the business, but potentially that's a strategic thing. We can move some things around.
And you get the money then to invest in what's next. So many women, I'm like, cool. Like for the law firm, for example, we put on a senior lawyer. The senior lawyer takes over most of the case files. The founders then freed up to step into their life work and to coach other founders. And then the profits from the law firm funds the next evolution. So you actually have a platform to invest in what's next versus being in startup mode again.
We don't even want to suffocate our sole purpose with the requirement really there of the money, because then you're going to put all that pressure, dump it over here, and you're still in the pressure.
Yes.
So that's not even where we're at. We actually want to keep that system going, realize that systems can bring money in without us being directly there 100% of the time.
It's the whole point.
It's allowed to come to us.
It's the whole point. The whole point is so you don't have to keep working. That's the whole point.
Yeah. So and also just the last thing on that, when you mention that moment where they want to quit, where things feel like they're all breaking, you're having an up level when things are like, this was even me, just a mini one last week in my team here, just felt like, why are things not working all of a sudden? Questioning, did the work, checked in, frequency of, okay, understood what needed to be cleared. This week it's like we've had new boundaries, new responsibilities, someone needed a promotion, we had to just reshuffle, new expectations, off and racing.
I love that so much, actually, and I want to touch on this because sometimes things aren't broken, it just needs an adjustment.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got the right person but in the wrong job. Sometimes you have the right job but the wrong person. And we want to catastrophize things like, oh, I've had a hard week, everything I'm going to burn it all to the ground.
Put it in the bin.
Literally, in the bin. But the maturity, in my view, is something is off and I need to realign. And I think a lot of women miss that you don't need to fire the person, or sometimes you do. I will say some people hold on to staff members too long, but it might just be that they're not feeling valued.
Right.
And you need to find their purpose and how to motivate them and how. So I talk about like symbiotic relationships and the ecosystem that people are playing into. And when I talk to my clients about employing people, I'm like, you need to know what they value, because that's how you know how to motivate them. So you can have the conversations where you're like, well, how can my goals support your goals, and collectively we grow together?
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, you can have the conversations and find out where the kink is.
Exactly. Because what's in it for them, right?
Truly.
You know, we want the people to do the things. It's like, what an honor and a blessing that people want to join you on your mission. Now, what's in it for them, and how do we support them? It can flow back through. It's always, it often just comes down to some tweaks. And like you say, sometimes you do need to let people go. And in the early days, you know, maybe we held on to some people too long. But now I get really curious, because now we are actually in a space where there can be tweaks, there can be boundary changes, there can be in small businesses, job descriptions are changing on the daily. Truly. So if we're not having those conversations, well, hang on, we upgraded our expectations, forgot to actually relay the information in about the changes, assumed that everybody's on the same page, and we're not.
Honestly, communication is like in business, in relationships, in everything is 9 times out of 10 the problem.
Yeah.
I would love to speak to frequency. You've mentioned it a few times. So how do you maintain your frequency? And what was the journey like when you first picked up this work? And I know you did Reiki, so I imagine that has a lot to do with it. But what are some things that people can focus on, practices they can implement? Because if I'm thinking of someone at home that might be in a season of feeling like they can't see the next step. Yeah. And they really need to like realign and tune back into their frequency and like ask for guidance on where they need to go. What are some ways you've cultivated that connection and relationship?
Yeah, such a big one. So first of all, everything is energy. So once we realize that we are electrical beings in a cosmos of energy around us, we are interacting. So we have our own blueprint, I believe, our own resonance, our own field, whether you want to call it like your aura, your prana, your life force. There is something special about you that when your life leaves your body, it goes. It's not the body, right? We've got this frequency that sits within us. So now that frequency can be interfered with depending on where you are. So if you're in low frequency places, a lot of pain or anger, that's going to vibrate on if we had a scale, it's going to be vibrating down with the lower frequencies. These can make you feel depressed, stressed, anxious, and it is not always coming from you. You can pick that up off other people. So if you're in a room full of very low vibrational things and you're a sensitive, empathetic person, you're going to pick that up. On the contrast, if you're in a room with very high vibrational things, the prana energy, the chi energy we say. So this is the life force, the life-giving force, you know, plants and animals and everything we need to live. And that's where co-creation sits. And that's where money for me and abundance sits right up the top in co-creation. It's actually an extremely high vibrational thing. Now, this is not money in terms of the system that they've put over the top of money. This is money in the way that it flows in a divine way. This is not the control system. We can get angry at the control system, but money is a pure source of value exchange between humans. So what can we do then if we're finding ourselves on this low frequency and we want to raise to the higher frequencies? What we can do are, first of all, the physical body, take care of the physical body, move the physical body. It's, you know, they say it's your temple, your vessel. We can't feel good if our body is diseased and unwell. Disease will show up when the prana and the life force isn't moving through your body the way that it should move through. So, of course, you know, nutrition, exercise, all of that is required. then I would say some of the activities that you can do: fun, joy, pleasure, creativity, be out in the sunshine, go in the salt water. These are things that the natural human body knows that it needs, and modern society potentially hasn't placed much value on. And so if we can, I was talking with a client, a one-to-one even just this morning, very successful woman, decamillionaire, and her vibration was off, and she knows strategically how she's in the finance. She knows how to make money, but she's with me because she understands I've got to tune up my frequency and make sure I stay up there as high as possible, because in order to bring in more wealth and more money, we need to be in those higher frequencies, I believe, if we want to do it in a way that feels really good and not go into the low vibrations. So creativity, fun, joy, pleasure. We must see fun as an action that actually gets problems solved. So if we started to put fun, creativity, joy, laughter, like put on some comedy, I'm a tap dancer, so I'll go to tap dancing class, and what hobbies have you given up thinking that it's a useless waste of time? It's actually not. If you can get yourself in that higher frequency, you're going to solve a lot of problems in your life. You're actually going to be using that. Things are going to drop away. Things that felt really hard, like this neighbor's bothering me and the problem at work and all this stuff and clients misbehaving and all these ways. Go raise your frequency and come back to me, and then go into those situations and tell me if those problems still exist.
Yes.
It won't be a vibrational match.
So essentially have more fun.
Yeah.
Find things that bring you joy. Spend more time in nature.
Yeah.
And almost it's like choose to find the good and let go of the negative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think especially for those that might, family or environments where people are constantly saying you can't, like you can't be in those environments if you want to up level.
Is very difficult when you're in the process of, like, if you're quite low vibrational for a long time. I've had depression, I've had anxiety in my I know how those conditions actually feel in a sustained amount of time. So I'm not talking about having a bad day, but if you're in a situation where you feel quite low vibrational as your basic state, then we do need to cocoon you in a sense and get you well, and really be selfish about your time, your energy, and where you're spending it, and pour so much love into you. Once you get to the state where you know yourself so well, like I can be in the most insane environments and it's like water off a duck's back. If my own energy hygiene is so good, like I can walk into situations, not for weeks and weeks, of course it's going to get to me, but we can be in situations that are quite tense, and the energies can essentially, we can witness them, we can see family members doing this, that, and the other, and it doesn't bother us as much.
Yeah. So like energetic cleanliness.
Yeah.
And like being in awareness that you can protect your energy.
Oh, yes.
That you don't have to give it to people that drain you, and I love that. I would love to know what identities you've had to let go of to step into this version of you.
Yeah. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I am.
This is one, and it's, I think it's an Australian thing, honestly. The Aussie battler, or I can overcome adversity. The survivor, the struggler, the working hard, the give something hard to me, and I'm gonna turn that into diamond. Like throw rocks at me, and I'm gonna make diamonds.
Oh, how I resonate with this.
Yeah, and so I don't know. It can be sneaky. So I'm not saying, like, I am proud of being self-made in that sense, that my life could have gone a very different way, and there was something in me that kept saying, reach higher. There's a bigger reason. Reach higher. So I do see myself as an alchemist. You can throw shit at me and I'll turn it into diamonds. However, there is this thread through society where we can resonate with people who are struggling, and you want to have your money stories with someone and complain about the petrol prices and complain about the cost of living, and don't get caught there. Don't let yourself sit there. Don't even have a conversation like that. That is linking into an identity of struggle, and that is going to be your reality. It's what's going to keep showing up for you.
I love this because, rich people didn't give a fuck about the fuel prices rising. And if you're not there yet, I think the focus is more on, well, what are you giving your energy to where you're wasting your time having conversations about things that you can't control? It's like if we post about the fuel prices or speak about the fact that it's a psyop or blame Trump or whatever people were doing, you're still giving energy to something versus you could have put up a post and got a coaching client.
Yes.
You know, like you could have done something to make money to help elevate you out of that fear or lack, but instead you're buying into the frequency of fear.
Yes, exactly. Which is the acceptable frequency.
Yes.
You're going to get claps, cheers, applauds. I get you. You're going to get all the sympathy down there, but you're not going to get the co-creation life that you want. So you have to make an active decision that I'm going to snap myself out of what everyone else is doing. I'm going to elevate myself. I'm potentially going to get picked apart because I've created success for myself, but I'm going to keep choosing that and keep going higher.
Yeah, I love this. I think people forget that we have a choice.
Yeah.
And I love this Aussie battler thing. And, you know, I've like big T trauma. My parents aren't great. So I come from this environment of lack. And what I love to remind people is I chose to remove myself. Like I didn't just stay. I wasn't just like, cool, I'm going to be a junkie like everyone else. I mean, I made some shady decisions when I was younger. I like to learn my lessons.
Try it and see.
Yeah, try it and see. I fucked around and found out in the wrong ways. So, yeah, but I didn't stay there. It was like, you know, drugs, topless waitressing, all of this stuff before I turned 21. So I was born in this environment where all I knew was drugs and bikies and, you know, that whole lifestyle. But I literally woke up when I think I was like 19. And I was like, I get to choose different. Like, and actually I was like, I don't want to end up like my mum. And I literally woke up one day and I was living on the Gold Coast at the time. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to choose to change this. And it was so random, but so empowering because I'd followed this story of, you know, like grew up in poverty and this is the only choice that I have and I don't have any options because my family's poor, and chose the victim narrative of some people just have it easier. Some people just have doors open for them. Some people just have different connections. And I literally just chose one day that wasn't going to be my story anymore. I still had trauma work to do and a lifetime of trauma work, I'm sure. I didn't just positive affirmation myself out of that like insidious belief system that was formed inside of me. That one day I literally just woke up and I was like, nope, no more. I choose different. I literally moved home, bought a house, got a job in recruitment and was a millionaire within 2 years, I think, probably 3 years.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, I want to talk to this like tall poppy syndrome in Australia, Aussie battler stuff, because I think it's so prevalent. And I actually speak to a lot of, we're in Perth, Western Australia, and I would say Perth specifically has a little bit of tall poppy syndrome. If I didn't co-parent, I'd probably move because I think you can get caught up in communities and viewpoints and belief systems. And I would love for you to share, you know, like I just shared, I was a millionaire in my 20s because I literally just chose to stop being a victim to my life and stop being a victim to my circumstances and stop blaming everyone else. I think the biggest thing for me was, oh, I'm the problem. And I've got to actually do the work and I've got to look at all the ways that I've created this.
Wow.
You know, like I was taking drugs. I was drinking on the weekend. I was hanging out with bikies and drug dealers. And then I was like, oh, no wonder this is my reality. And I literally just chose when I was at 21, I got baptized and then stopped hanging out with everyone that was recreating that environment.
Yes.
So I also think, to you speaking about the mask and the identity you had to leave behind, sometimes you actually do need to leave behind those versions of you to create space for what you want next.
Yeah.
And even in like upper echelon wealth creation, it's like right now I'm in the middle, but I see where I want to be and I actually actively work on letting go of the identity that got me here so I can step into the identity that's going to get me to become a decamillionaire.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would love for you to talk to that because I think there's, you know, those that might be at the beginning that are too afraid to step up, but I also think there's, you know, like I'm still middle class technically, and the identity from like elevating into becoming a multimillionaire is an identity death and rebirth and claiming and choosing. Well, what am I letting go of here that is going to allow me to step in up here?
Yeah.
So I would love for you to speak to that.
Absolutely. You know, so many things coming to mind and so many ways that we could do this, but essentially the greatest gift that you can give yourself is to have that moment where you think about the last day that you have on this planet. When you think about if we're blessed enough to live into our 90s and we're sitting in, you know, maybe laying in bed just reflecting on life, taking stock of the decisions that we made and sure, the cards that we were dealt, the life that we were born into, all the opportunities that came across our desk and the ones we decided to act on and the ones that we just decided were too scary and too hard. What would she have wanted you to do? Is she going to think, you played full out. You absolutely gave it everything. I'm so proud not only of what you've achieved, but the way that you expressed your soul to its fullest potential. The way that we gave you this gift of life and you went and breathed it into every corner. If I can get to that last day and feel like I breathed life my way into every corner, then I'm going to feel like I did my job. Any part of my day. So I sit with that and she comes with me through my days because there's no hiding from that day. We're all going to, if we're blessed enough, we're all going to get that day. So knowing that, what's the worst case scenario? Because we can be worried about what our friends and family think. Now you're going to have to come up against it. So it can be a lonely journey.
Truly.
The lonely journey. Everyone loves, you know, the hero's journey and because they know the end result. And then you're watching them go from struggle to society turning on them to them not giving up on themselves to then battling it out. And in their darkest moments, they decide to keep going. And then they get there. And then at the end, everyone's cheering for them. Hey, guess what? No, they don't need the applause. They don't need the applause at that point. When they probably needed it was these moments down here underground where they're doing the work. So you're going to have to be your biggest cheerleader.
Truly.
If you're lucky enough and blessed enough to have a partner who sees your vision and who can breathe life into it with you, then that's incredible. But don't be afraid to, even ourselves, we must carry the vision and we must cheer for ourselves internally and be prepared for people who are potentially right there with you one day. If you become a threat to their identity and where they want you to sit within their life, it's actually okay for them to be like, I'm just not vibing you anymore. Whether it's because they see you now up here and it's just not a fit for their reality, that's actually okay. I don't even expect people to continue the same level of support because, hey, guess what? Then I'm here in a different room and I've got a whole new group of supporters cheering me on and helping me and opening doors for me.
I love
and even that I can't get attached to because even then is going to create another level where I'm stuck. So just as much as possible, just be free to your own path.
I love that because I think so often people get stuck because we're actually not afraid of success. We're afraid of what we have to lose to claim it most of the time. We're actually afraid of the success because what does it cost us? It's going to cost us our old identities. It might cost us our old friend circles. And I think it's so crucial because there's like an in-between.
Yes, the
in-between. Where it's like you're like letting go of your old life, but your new life hasn't fully anchored yet and you're in free fall basically and you just have to trust and keep going.
It feels awful.
And I think this is the place that most people give up. So talk to me about a free fall moment in your life. And some of the things you did to like just keep holding the vision because I think this is where women stop before they hit seven figures because they're free falling. Maybe it's their partner. You know, I left my last relationship because he didn't want to grow with me. Great man. We co-parent fantastically. He's a great father, but he wasn't on the same frequency or level or I didn't desire to come with me on this journey to evolution. And it was scary because the world, my friends, everyone was like, you're leaving your husband?
Yeah.
Like, he's such a good man. And I'm like, yeah, but he's just not my man. He doesn't want to come with me on this journey. So, yeah, I would love for you to speak to like the in-between moments you've had and how you've really anchored to, well, I'm going to let go of that because I know I'm destined for this.
You know, I can go to my earliest days ones or my most recent one, but the main thread is it continues to happen. So you just get better at it.
I love that you said that actually. When you were talking, I was like, don't be afraid to build depth and friendships and connection because you need intimacy, like friendship intimacy as well as relational intimacy and vulnerability. And it's like, it's almost like, you know, the tantric philosophy of love is like love without condition or attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I love you when I let you go and I love you in this season and I'm going to be with you. But you're speaking to something I don't think people realize is almost like if you want to evolve, you either are in a circle of people that evolve with you or you allow yourself to find where you're going to next. I want to talk to almost like I can just feel this preconceived idea of, well, that's lonely or I don't want to let go of my friends or, well, it means you're not building real connection. So how, like, I feel the shadow side of growth almost.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like my husband now, we grow together. That was one of the values that we made sure were aligned before we even started dating. I was like, how important is growth to you and what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go through the same thing where I was growing alone. So talk to me about that in business and friendships and connections and, you know, even masterminds, like outgrowing coaches, outgrowing rooms.
Everything is temporary. That is not to say that we don't love on the deepest levels. It's actually a gift to know that everything is temporary. Every day, you know, and I don't know when exactly I was taught this. We did lose a lot of family members prior to the birth of my son. So that was 10 years ago. We lost my husband's dad, his mum and his two brothers to cancer and to Alzheimer's and my nonna all passed within a couple of years a decade ago prior to my son's birth. So I was seeing life and how life can get taken. Very, very real, very, very tangible evidence of our temporary time here. Whether you need to, you know, look at nature and the way that things grow and they die, it is the cycle of life. We can't avoid it. What are we thinking? Everyone wants insurances and the perfect plan and the perfect path doesn't exist. It never did. So we are all resisting the fact that, well, we all will return back to that in which we came. And it's not to say that we don't love deeply while we're here, but I would say there is a constant. You're never alone, and you might be lonely in the sense of people can't see people can't potentially sympathize for the journey that I'm on right now, and I have to just go inwards. I'm not alone. I'm well accompanied inwards and with source energy or whatever it is you find meaning out of life. Once you've found that, hey, nothing can break you because you've always got you. And it's not a sense of I got me and it's all I need. It's actually a surrendering to what it is to be alive. Okay, so I would say the loneliness, it's just really can be uncomfortable when you have to change relationships. So yes, it is a physical, it's like, oh, I liked that person. I liked that husband. Gosh, husband, don't listen. We're both on a growth trajectory. We've been together 20-something years together. So I do feel he's my soul partner and we've been so blessed to grow together. But if you're losing friends or you just need to not be around your family for a minute, it's okay. It's not it's a necessary isolation just to make sure the thing that you're doing is for you and it's right for you. You've got to choose you.
Truly. And just what came to me then is like, I'll always put me first.
Yeah.
Always. I'll never self-sacrifice, and I used to. And for me, like coming out of, you know, my 8-figure company and the marriage that just wasn't serving me anymore, I had built that life on self-sacrifice. And when I had my spiritual awakening 6 years ago and really actually found like this inner peace and self-love, the promise I made to my little girl was, I'll always put you first.
Yes.
Like always. Yeah. And so for me, it's like,
yes,
if I'm always putting myself first, then I have to be honest with like spaces or places or people or things that just aren't serving me. And it's not to say I can't have like compassion or understanding for the people in that space, but I just won't sacrifice myself.
You cannot abandon your soul.
I will
you
never
cannot
abandon myself
yourself.
again.
Yeah.
So that for me is what and I have friends that aren't in business and aren't on a growth trajectory, but I'm very intentional with my time and my energy, and they still elevate my life in some way. They don't take from it, and I don't feel drained. And this is how I assess who like is staying basically is, am I contributing to their life in some way? Are they contributing to my life in some way? And how do the thought of would I give up my Friday night for them basically?
Yeah.
For me, it's like, would I give up time with my kids or my husband?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then they're probably not the right person to come in with the next evolution. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I can still love them. I can still check in with them every so often, but I'm just not choosing them perhaps in as much with as much time as I would have in the past.
Yeah.
And people get so scared of that, I think. But you're never truly alone if you love yourself.
Yeah.
And if you have a partner that's growing with you, like for me, I'm like, me and my bestie just over here taking over the world, I'll be fine.
Honest, is this a tribal thing where we literally would die if we were exiled from the tribe?
Yes.
You know, where it's that part of our brain that's like, if I don't have my pack, I'm dead.
Yes.
But hey, guess what? It doesn't work that way anymore. We're an evolved society, we're an evolved frequency. It is different these days. Money was different then.
Yes.
Money's different now. It actually behaves differently. So even, I look back and say, well, that did work then for them, but it's different now. And so actually we are all highly evolved beings in our own right, and we are able to survive in an ecosystem that spans the entire globe. So if our current tribe that live in 5 kilometer radius from us are not the people, it's okay. We've got an entire planet. I promise you your people are there.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this because I've, the entrepreneur in me, I put myself in room with people I want to be more like.
Yeah.
Like put yourself in the frequency of people. As you're talking, I'm like, I do need to join Michelle's group. I want to become a Deca-millionaire because I'm like, put yourselves in the room with women that are doing the things that you want to do.
Normalize it the way we talk about wealth and investing. For some of these women, they're like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air. I can actually speak my bigness. And I'm like, and why are we stopping there? What else can we do? Let's go, right? And so this is it. And so when we were talking tall poppies, it's the opposite of that, because that is going to keep you in lack. And I'm here to speak this message as much as I can, because I want humans to know that we don't have to do what we always did because it worked for 3 generations ago. Stop and have a look around. You're here for a purpose.
Truly.
You can make change and impact. One human being can make massive impact on this globe. Don't underestimate your own power.
I love this. I was actually, I do a DM campaign.
Yeah.
I'm no shame. I will ask for what I want always. I will always create the space to have doors opened. I was reflecting today because I had 2 specific DM responses. One woman responded and said, not for me, but fuck yes, queen. Like, go get it.
Yeah.
And the other responded with, are you fucking kidding? Now, I don't pitch in my first message. It's a very warm, like, hey, I've got this. If you know anyone that might be interested, let me know and I'll pass on the details to them. I don't send links or anything like that, but I'm of the belief if you want to grow, you need to open doors.
Yeah.
I was reflecting on that because I'm like, you need to be in rooms with the women that don't cut you down. And I actually think it's quite sad. Actually, I'm going to write a post on this today because I'm like, why bring that energy? Either don't respond or just be like, not for me, thank you. If anyone cold pitches me, by the way, I always respond, always, because I'm about it. Like, I don't think we ask for what we want enough.
Yes.
And for me, it was just really sad. I was like, imagine, like, I've got big shoulders. I could give a fuck. But imagine if this was someone else that they stopped asking for the opportunity because it's like, someone else just took pause with a woman actually asking for what she wanted and building connections and opening doors.
I have never been wired this way, thank goodness, but the expansion. So if you believe that there is limited resources on the planet, then it becomes either you get it or I get it. And now we're in competition.
Yes.
I don't believe we have limited resources on this planet. It actually gets to be you're rising, how cool, I'm rising, how cool. We're all just on our own missions and everybody gets to rise.
Truly.
When you truly believe that to your core, that there is no lack. There is never any real competition because nobody has the frequency blueprint that you have or the mission that it can't be. You can have two people doing the exact same role and they will resonate with different people.
Truly.
So we can't, there's,
It's like a soul frequency.
Yes.
And like the story and the energy behind you, someone will choose you over me, for example, but it won't be anything except for they just resonate with your energy more.
Yeah.
And
so when you see that cutting down, that is just a representation of somebody in lack that believes there is limited resources.
Truly. So my invitation to everyone listening is, for me, it was I literally laughed and I'm like, wow, that is such polarity, duality. I was like, there's literally women, and she is a multimillionaire. And for me, I had a little giggle. I was like, literally.
Have you ever seen somebody who is above you cut you down?
And I did. I was like, well, the other lady must be in lack and I'm sending her love.
Yes.
And she didn't even let me respond. She blocked me because I would have been like, thanks, here's some love.
Look, honestly, sometimes I might miss a message or just look at it and you're like, okay, whatever. But to actually put your energy into something and decide that that's something that you want to squash is a whole different thing.
When I teach it, I'm like, most people won't respond until you have something they care about.
Yeah.
So never look at it as a rejection. Look at it as it's just not important in their world right now because everyone has their own focus.
Yeah.
And yet for me, it's like the actual energy to respond negatively. I'm like, why would you even
put that out there?
Anyway, I just, when we were talking about tall poppy syndrome and the rooms that you create, which I would love for you to share before we finish. But for me, I was like the rooms of women that talk about wealth and that raise each other up and that can hold the room and the conversation about there's so much available. I was like, I want more of that. I think the world needs more of that because I'm just like, why? Why bring lack and negativity when there is more possibility and space? I think especially like the mother wound, the sister wound is huge.
Yes.
And I love that you bring this element of celebration of our bigness and our moreness and like normalizing that we don't need to feel bad for wanting more and having more and being in that energy.
So money to me, it's a sustenance. It's something that feeds our ability to go out and create. I want as much money as possible in the hands of people who want to go out and create these incredible things. So for me, it makes absolutely no sense that there would ever be a limit. The only reason that people may have a limit for you is what I said, is if they believe that by you going and getting the money, it means I don't go and get the money. There's trillions of dollars. It's like taking a bucket out of the ocean. The ocean does not miss that money. So I'm fascinated by this concept. I'm fascinated by the deck of millions to me. And when we start to get around the $10 million mark and your wealth, even if it's growing at 10% per annum, sitting in assets, it might be less, it might be more, and you've got $10 million of an asset base, you're gaining momentum by 1 million a year. So now you've got 11 million and then that's growing by 1.1 million, and it compounds and grows. So I cannot wait to continue to watch women grow and understand this concept of money, to watch us go and claim the deck of millions and beyond, and to see what unlocks, what's behind that door, because 1 million felt like, whoa, I'm a millionaire, until it was like, oh, that actually changes nothing. That gets me a house.
A millionaire now is middle class.
It gets me a house and I'm still in lack. So where is abundant overflow? Because I know that if I can go from 0 to 8, that I can go from 8 to 16, that I might go from 16 to 160, because I can't see the rules of those games yet. So I want to keep opening doors, keep staying curious, keep opening doors for as many women as I can, because this amplification effect is where we get into this, gives me chills, exponential growth.
I love it.
One woman rising is actually an advantage to me.
Truly.
Being in the proximity of another successful woman. I've got clients now who she secured her first billionaire client after we were initially charging $1,000 for these fees. She's a highly skilled property and land healer. So she works with the frequency. Now, billionaires are paying for frequency work because they understand it.
Truly.
Because they get it. And so now, these packages are now $50K for estates and entire businesses, a corporation. Huge, huge, huge.
So good.
So I don't see a limit.
Yeah.
I will not ever see a limit. And so I believe that it's my mission to take as many women as I can to the millions and beyond. And let's do it. And I'm excited to see what's behind the next door.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having this conversation.
Of course. Share with the women because, I could have some men. Hi, men.
Yes.
What's coming up? Where can they find you? How do we get into the Deca Millionaire Club?
Honestly, just come on over. We have an absolute ball over. Michelle Rule Millionaire Maker, my Instagram is my main platform. So
Awesome.
Come check it out. If you're in Perth or you're flying into Perth, we do have a big event coming up, my annual event, the Millionaires Stage. That'll be July. So depending on when you're listening to this, but come on over, get involved. I've got a free financial freedom calculator they can download. Just get amongst it. Start cracking open your mind to your true potential.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear how much money you're calling in. I want to hear all the details and let's see what we can co-create.
Beautiful.
Let's have some fun.
Yes, and have fun while doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Has to be. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you for listening to Unmasked Founders with me, Leslie Kay. Follow Leslie Kay on social media for more insights, and we'll see you in the next episode. You can find me at Leslie with a Z, Kaye. Check the show notes for how to spell my name. Remember, true success is built from the inside out.